The boy's around 12 years old, I guess. Looks like he could be watching me. Hey, kid! I know you're there. Come out, I'm not gonna hurt you.
You couldn't anyway. I'm much too quick for you.
If you say so. I'm Darъn Майкълс, a mighty physics student.
I'm Van Helsing.
Whoa! The vampire hunter? I always thought you were a bit older, sir. Can you tell me where I am? What's this castle?
Eh? It's the old Gordon's place.
The Gordons? From Willow Creek?
Willow Creek? I don't know what you're talking about. Sir Richard and Lady Eleanor used to live here.
And where are we exactly?
Where? In Wales.
Oh, great. I saw some toys in the castle. Are they yours?
Yes, all my things. And my car. I got that for my birthday. I daren't go in there since those men have been there.
You better not. They're dangerous.
Are they werewolves?
No. But they kidnapped me.
Cool.
Have you seen the two men who are living in the castle now?
Yes, nasty men.
You bet.
One of them chased me. Said he would call the police if I don't disappear.
I'm sure he wouldn't do that.
The woman was much nicer.
Which woman?
The pretty one.
I see.
Was here a few weeks ago. She was snooping around and asked me about the summer house and the laboratory. And then she went. She took some blood samples with her.
Strange. Did she tell you her name? Or what she planned to do with them?
She needed the blood for research. Angelina said.
Whoa, what?
For research. Maybe she's a vampire hunter too.
What did the woman look like?
Well, like a woman. Pretty.
Like this? Did she look like this?
Yes, that's her. But she had long blonde hair when she was here. I liked her much more like that.
Long blonde hair. And when did you say she was here?
It was before my birthday. About 4 weeks ago.
Long before we coincidentally bumped into each other in Biddeford. What kind of summer house is that?
It's all ruins. Blew up.
Really?
Yes, a long time ago. My father says that old Sir Richard died in the explosion. He had his laboratory in the summer house. He was a scientist. I think he was a vampire.
Really?
Of course. He experimented with blood. Who else does that kind of thing?
Maybe you're right. And they gave up the castle after the explosion?
Maybe. That was 10 years ago. Since I've been coming here, the castle has always been empty.
What exactly did the woman do when she was here?
Looked at the castle and the summer house, especially the house.
Do you know what she did there?
Looked for something, and I think she tried to get into the old laboratory. At some point, she gave up and started searching at the tomb in the marshes. I had to go home because it was starting to get dark. When I came back the next day, she walked past me coming from the summer house. She had a bag of blood in her hand and was very happy. And then, she left.
Listen, Van Helsing, can you do me a favor and keep watch for the car and the other man coming back? I need to have a look around here and, I need a lookout.
Of course. Nothing gets past me.
Excellent. That can't possibly be a coincidence. Angela snoops around the Gordon estate, and I discover a connection to this very family in Biddeford. Did Angelina lie to me? The question is, did she have a good reason, or does she work for the Order? I can't leave here before I found some answers. Hey, look!
my car!
I don't know what I could ask him at the moment. The little guy's hatchet. Oh, it's seen better days. Can I just borrow the hatchet?
Yeah, of course.
Approximately a foot-long sharpened wooden stake. I really doubt that there are vampires here. A dream habitat for frogs and swamp plants. But that wasn't ever the plan, for sure. Whoever the guy is, and judging by his clothing, I bet he never reckoned on ending up standing in a swamp. Not long now and you'll see this place as one green sea of plants. Ugh, it smells all rotten and a bit airless. Probably the leaves from the trees rotting in the water. A completely filthy water tap. Well, who'd have thought it? It still works. A water hose, which apparently they used to use to blast the garden. Ah, it's had it. There's a huge rip in it about a yard long. There was probably water in it over the winter, and when it froze, it will have bursted. Hoses have been real useful to me up till now. Hopefully the same goes for this one. That could have been a tower at one time. The princess would have been locked in the top, waiting for her knight in shining armor. Who knows what's waiting there now? I'm pretty sure that there's something interesting inside, but I can't get inside from here. This lamp definitely hasn't worked for eons, and for sure is never going to again. Wrecked, like everything here. This wall is definitely just as old as the tower, and just as shaky. Had to keep away from it. The only function of the wall seems to be to hold up the gate. I won't disturb it. That's where someone either tried to turn into the entrance, or the wall fell down through old age. Behind the wall is where a kind of moat begins, maybe 4 or 5 yards deep. Down there's just stone and junk, perhaps a few objects from the Middle Ages. Swords, armor, that sort of thing. But that's for archaeologists to worry about. The bowl is full to the brim with water. The outlet's probably blocked so that the rainwater can't escape. A tree's blocking the way, but I reckon I can climb over the trunk. Oh, damn! That could also have gone in my eye. Luckily, it seems to have not rained here for a while. That's why the morass is relatively hard and dry. Otherwise, Luckily, it seems to have not rained here for a while. That's why the morass is relatively hard and dry. Otherwise, I would have sunk in deeper, and might not have been able to get out on my own. Huh. It's a miracle that the stairs haven't collapsed, but I'm still not gonna step on them. Luckily, it seems to have not, otherwise I would have... Is that also some kind of grave? Huh. Nope. Rather more like a water basin. There's about half an inch of duckweed floating on the water. A monument. And there's more behind. Maybe some kind of family plot. Strange. None of the graves look like they're from recent years. Most of the stones must have been standing there for decades. Huh. The ground's real soft everywhere here. I think it must be a swamp. I bet as soon as it rains, you can't put one foot in front of the other. This building must be the only one you can still get into. A pulley, somewhat battered and weathered. But it still works. The statues are of veiled women, grieving for the dead. In their book it says... nothing. 3 very similar trees, all about as thick as an arm, about 3 or 4 yards tall, and pretty bent over by the wind. The trees only have their first branches quite high up, and barely any leaves. They're obviously not doing too well, but they're still too thick to break them and bring them down. This'll take a while. The axe is real blunt. Okay, I felled the trees and trimmed the trunks for a good 1.5 yards. The tree trunks are about an arm's thickness and pretty long. The tree trunks are about... It's a miracle that so much of the house is still standing after the tree smashed into it. Nothing interesting to see. The roof has caved in and buried the room below it. No chance. The door's wedged. And even if it wasn't, the building looks likely to fall down any minute anyway. Huh. A hook. It still looks pretty sound despite the rust. Ah, it's damn well fixed. I'm not gonna get it out with my bare hands. I'll try to loosen the hook using the hatchet. That worked amazingly well. Looks useful. I'll take it with me. In horror stories, there's always secret passageways under sarcophaguses like this. And they always lead down into secret underground chambers. In reality, though, I think I can exclude that idea. There are only probably some horrible beetles and corpse-eating maggots in there. This stone statue is covered in moss, like the others. It's carrying a metal shield. Unusual. The shield hasn't been moved in years. False alarm. Could be Poseidon. Well, the statue's got a trident in its hand, at least. Little Van Helsing reckoned that Angelina had spent a long time messing around the tomb here. And here's the lid, not lying squarely on the sarcophagus. There are some stone chips which have come off the edge. Doesn't look all too old. Angelina had opened the sarcophagus, that much is clear. But why? I don't know why Angelina had lifted the lid off the sarcophagus, but she did, I'm sure of that much. The question is, how can I do that? The lid must weigh several hundred pounds. Angelina must have definitely had some kind of suitable equipment on hand, as opposed to me. There are two belts. They look like carrion slings, and they look new. The belts are a ripstop weave. They'll sure hold quite a bit. Now, how does that go? You can somehow rig up a tripod out of 3 pieces of wood. So, and then like so. Yep, exactly. And now, 1 tripod. Just has to be erected now. I don't know why Angelina had. The question is... I'll position it as well as I can over the sarcophagus. I'll hang the pulley on the rope. I'll try to get as much of the rope as I can. The pulley's hanging nicely. I ought to first secure the slings to the lid. The pulley's hanging nicely. In theory, I ought to be able to open the lid. I'll place the sling around the back right corner and the other around the front left one. The slings are exactly long enough to touch in the middle. The length just makes it. Real careful. I hope it's gonna hold. What have we got here? Steps leading down. The gap is big enough to squeeze through. I only hope that my rig up doesn't collapse as soon as I'm in. Whoa. Now where's this then? Looks like the inside of a tower. And here's some kind of crater in the floor. Looks like something's exploded here. The safe survived the explosion undamaged, I'd say. These burns may have well come from a welding set. The kid reckoned that Angelina looked real pleased with herself. Somehow she must have got the safe open. Now what have we got here? A combination lock, but not with numbers, with letters. Sheesh, I can only guess here. It looks like there wasn't any fire. There's no charring in the rubble. An explosion which caused this kind of damage in a closed space? So Richard wouldn't have stood a chance. There's paper lying everywhere. Most of it soaked through from rainwater. A piece of plastic tube. Okay, I'll stick it in. Rather light. The walls of the pipe are thin. Maybe it belongs to part of a ventilation system or something. Here's a folder. Oh, it's only wet on one corner. Newspaper cuttings. From 1981. 12 years ago. William Gordon in fatal accident, Willow Creek. William Gordon fell on Tuesday from his studio in the tower of his home due to unknown causes. Blah, blah, blah. William Gordon, suicide. As the police today announced, we are now dealing with the fall of the master of Blackmere Castle, close by the village of Willow Creek. In all probability, a suicide. Here's another piece a week later. Grim serial murders in Willow Creek. Blah, blah, blah. Latest victim of bloody trail, Vic Valley, just 12 years old. According to police sources, his body was found next to a stone circle in the woods. The condition of the corpse gives reason to suspect a ritual killing. Another 2 weeks later. Main suspect in Willow Creek murders identified. As Scotland Yard has announced, it has been established that at 3 of the murder scenes, there are signs which suggest the involvement of Samuel Gordon, the grandson of William Gordon, who was killed last month. Samuel Gordon was found dead 2 weeks ago at the foot of one of the towers of Blackmere Castle. Apparently the tower from which his grandfather had previously... Reports about the murder fest in Willow Creek 12 years ago. No wonder that Sir Richard was interested in it. William was his brother. The poster survived the explosion relatively undamaged. It was probably hit squarely by the pressure wave and then pressed against the wall. Here's a table showing the occurrences of blood groups. Most of the people have blood group AB, then comes B, then A, and then quite rarely there's group O. Whoa, hey, a welding torch. Angelina was using some heavy gear, but it doesn't look like it's been used. The safe wasn't cut open. Works perfectly, but it's not gonna help me much with the safe. Works perfectly, but it's not gonna help me much with the safe. Metal holder with several blood samples. The boy mentioned that. There's a number on each sample, and there's a list of names stuck on the back of the safe. Now let's see. Weird. The numbers 1 to 5 are missing. That's Richard Gordon and William Gordon. Gordon's blood. What does Angelina want with that? Does she need it herself or something? Or does she want to stop it getting into other people's hands? Whatever it is, I can't trust her anymore. She's in this thing somehow and she's lied to me. I ought to drive back to Willow Creek. Maybe she's turned up there in the meantime. And then we'll see. There's nothing else in it apart from the blood samples. And I know what I had to know. Angelina was after the Gordon's blood. The question is, why? And what have I got to do with it? I can't get through there. The passage has collapsed a few yards in. Chains, wrought iron rings, crudely hewn stones. Not exactly what you'd call modern craftsmanship. Rather more like a Frankenstein movie. Whether the crack goes back to the explosion or appeared later, I don't know. Whichever the case, it doesn't look good. Logic tells me that the tower has been standing like this for years, and so the chances are pretty damn slim that it's all of a sudden gonna collapse this minute, just while I'm here. But my gut tells me that I shouldn't stay here any longer than I absolutely need to.
Whoa, you've been in the crypt? Are there coffins in there?
Yeah, but no vampires.
Shame.
Well, what is it then?
A car! The other man's back!
The other kidnapper? Huh. Thanks for the warning. Okay, run home and tell your parents they should call the police, okay?
Cool.
I've got to be careful. Tom won't be too happy that I've disappeared. Tom's car's back there. Maybe I could hotwire it and...
I don't care what's happened to your head, you useless pisswit. Make sure you get the old cow on the phone. I'll look for that bastard.
I'm never gonna get to the car. Tom would see me, and I think I've seen a weapon. Looks like there are two options. I can wait here for the police, and then explain to them for hours on end what's going on here. Or I can lay a trap for Tom and then steal his car. The hose has had it. There's a tear in it here more than a yard long. The piece with the rip can't be repaired. I'll cut that bit out. Okay, now I've got two halfway usable hose ends. Yeah, great. The tube fits exactly in the hose. Not. If I heat it up first, it ought to expand, and then I could connect the two hose ends. If I heat up the plastic tube, it'll expand. Then the ends of the hose will fit into the tube. I think that'll do. It fits. Just wait a bit while it cools down. Done. It's a pretty close fit on the hose. No more water's getting out of there. When the water flows through it, that'll cool the tube down completely. The hose is in position. It's on. Okay, good. Let's put the whole swamp underwater. That ought to do it. Okay, let's hope everything works as planned. Hey! Tom!
Stop! Stay where you are! Don't move or I'll shoot.
And I'd bet that'd be the highlight of your last 5 minutes on Earth. Tom.
Get me out of here!
Huh. Why should I? Weren't you gonna shoot me just now?
I wanna get out of here!
Then throw your weapon into the swamp and give me your car keys.
I'll...
You'll what? Die in utter misery?
There. Now get me out of here.
Not so fast. What's going on with Angelina? Is she involved with all this?
I've already told you. I don't know any Angelina.
Tja, I'm inclined to doubt that. She was only in the village a few days ago.
Then I didn't see her.
You would certainly have noticed her.
One more time. I don't know any Angelina, and there was nobody sniffing around the village either. Except you. Okay? Throw me a bloody rope, will you? Or something or other.
Who ordered you to kidnap me?
You're supposed to pull me out of this.
Was it this secret society?
I don't know anything about a secret society.
The Order. That means nothing to you?
Yeah. Okay. I was supposed to find you, knock you out, and bring you here.
And then?
She was going to call me on the phone and give me further instructions.
She?
A woman. Sounded quite old. No idea who she is.
And she didn't want me staying in Willow Creek?
Yeah. I was supposed to bring you here as soon as possible.
Do you know who belongs to the Order?
No idea. I've only ever seen these nutters over by the mine. They were wearing masks. I don't know who they all were.
All right then. I'm gone. The police will be here soon.
Get me out of here!
Why? Do you seriously believe you're gonna be sucked to the bottom? Idiot.
Excuse me, sir. There's been a letter delivered for you.
Who delivered it?
I don't know. It was in the hotel's post box. But there's no stamp on it, so it must have been delivered personally.
Huh. Thanks. Hey, it's from Angelina. Dear Darren, I haven't been completely honest with you.
I've been concerned with Willow Creek and Black Mirror for some time, and it was you I was looking for in Biddeford. I stumbled upon something there that I don't want to write about here. I can only tell you this much. You are in danger. There's a group of people who are out to kill you. They were already after you in Maine. They caught me here in Willow Creek. I managed to escape, and I've been hiding in a safe place since then. I found out today that you are here. I'll explain everything to you and hope that you will forgive me. No, I know that you'll forgive me when you know the dreadful truth. Come to the old lighthouse tonight at 11 o'clock. Make sure that no one follows you. I'll explain everything to you there. Together we can put an end to this whole thing. Take care of yourself and trust no one. You don't know who might belong to the Order. Angelina.
Huh. Angelina's alive. That's the good news. But what kind of a game is she playing? Can I trust her? She lied to me. She knew about this place the whole time. And I'm sure she wasn't unfamiliar with Reginald Boris either. The question is, what side is she on? What's she up to? Either way, I'm gonna find out this evening at the lighthouse. But I should take some precautions. The only place where I'll get a few honest answers is in the Chronicle of the Gordons. Once I know which role the Order plays, perhaps I can deduce what game Angelina's playing. I've got to find a way to read the Chronicle in the museum.